Yo, so I got Harrison Neville's Nike mags, which he bought from Whistlindiesel.
Mistake that I've made in a long time. But I got offered to buy a pair of sneakers that I sold to a fellow YouTuber.
You guys might have seen the video already. If not, you could watch it on WD's channel. We did the total opposite of what we're not supposed to do to the shoes.
Do not disassemble these shoes. And do not get these shoes wet.
These shoes have been steamrolled, burned by a flamethrower, and doused with motor oil. Anything you think the cartel will do, it's been done to these shoes. The shoes reek of motor oil and it feels very slick and slippery. I'm basically gonna handle the cleaning portion of this restoration, and Electro Kicks will handle the electrical side. The first thing I want to do is remove the swoosh and make a new one. I'm gonna scan the original swoosh to make a pattern and use my Cricut cutter to cut out a new swoosh with real leather. I'm gonna try to ice the soles as much as I can, and I want to see if I could save the clear bubble that shows the LED lights. I'm gonna leave them outside so the sun can do its magic. There's absolutely no way to fix the cracked leather on the ankle collar. You know why? Because it's not even real leather. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it all off and just paint it back to white. I'm gonna use melamine sponge to clean the buckle. It's also known as Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. You can get a 100 pack on Amazon or eBay for like 10 bucks. So if you clean a lot of shoes, that's worth the investment. The Velcro was soaked in motor oil, so I'm gonna replace that instead. I'm gonna add some sneaker cleaner and water on the sponge so I can get a good lather. And you know what time it is. Cuando veo la espuma, estoy in the zone. I'm gonna replace the oil stained Velcro one with a brand new one, so I'm just gonna cut out a new piece. Here's a quick before and after. I'm gonna glue the new pieces on using Barge Cement Super Stick. And here it is. It looks a whole lot better now. I'm gonna separate the uppers so I can thoroughly clean them. I'm also gonna cut up the uppers so I can have access to the laces and the tongue. I absolutely have no idea if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try to use OxiClean stain remover and see if it's gonna remove any motor oil. So I'm just gonna douse the fabric with the solution and then put them in the washer. Okay, so at this point I'm losing hope because nothing's coming off. It's like I'm at a race and the finish line to make these look brand new again is stretching further and further away from me. I'm gonna throw them in the washer because, let's be honest, they can't get any worse at this point. And I'm gonna use color safe bleach just to be safe. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that didn't do anything, so we're gonna try actual bleach. I'm gonna test it on an area that won't be easily seen. So I'm gonna put some on the sock liner to see if it changes the color or lighten it up at least, because the inside of the shoes are badly stained. So after a few hours, there was no changes whatsoever, even with bleach. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just paint the uppers. I'm gonna try to do a color match on the uppers as best as I can using these colors. I can tell on the color of the uppers that it has a cool blue tone to it. It also has some red hues. If I put too much blue, I could tone it down by adding brown. So this paint match took me about 3 hours because I had to wait for the paint to dry. And sometimes I would mess up on my ratio really bad and I would have to start over. But I did end up getting a color that I liked. I'm gonna take off the strobo board so I can have better access to the tongue and laces. And underneath the second layer are the laces. After the shoes have been thrown in the washer, they've been bleached, they still feel oily. And then I remember this commercial where this man saved a baby duck from an oil spill. And then I'm like, if that baby duck can look dead stock again after some dish soap, let me try some Dawn dish soap on the upper. This is the original tongue that we won't be using, and this is the replacement tongue. The tongue has just soaked up too much oil for it to be reused. And these are the laces that I'm going to be replacing. I've been letting the dish soap do its magic, so it's time to just rinse the upper. I'm glad I used dish soap to clean them because the washing machine didn't do anything. I'm going to keep rinsing them until the water turns clear, just like if you're making rice. Since dish soap worked on the upper, I'm also going to use it on the midsole. The reason why I'm not using a shoe cleaner is because it's not strong enough to pull out the oil. And this is why I don't frequently use dish soap to clean shoes made of leather. Because you need the natural oils in the leather to keep it supple and soft. Otherwise, the leather is going to dry out and crack. Before I paint the uppers, I'm going to remove the original laces so they don't get in the way. I'm going to mask off the area that the swoosh is going to go so I don't get paint on it. This is going to give me an outline where the swoosh is supposed to go. I'm also going to tape up the side set because I want to protect it from the paint. The next thing I'm going to paint is to bring back the white ankle collar. Now that everything's painted, I'm going to stitch in the laces. I'm going to make a mark on the new laces where the original laces were sitting because I don't want to make it too loose or too tight. After it's stitched on, I'm going to cut off any excess material. The pen I use disappears with heat, so I'm going to use a blow dryer to make the ink disappear. I'm going to cut more of the liner so I can insert the tongue and stitch it on. I'm going to install the new Swoosh using Barge Cement Super Stick. I'm going to apply a thin layer of adhesive on the Swoosh outline and on the Swoosh. Then I'm going to let it cure for 10 minutes. Once it's done curing, I'm going to reactivate the glue with heat and then bond them together. I'm going to start prepping the midsoles by removing the factory glue, and I'm also going to prep the midsoles for a full repaint. Once it's been prepped, I'm going to glue down the outsole to the midsole. Once everything is glued down, I'm going to start taping the areas I don't want to get paint on. Okay, so I actually took the soles off because it's much easier to lay down the tape on the midsole without the soles. I'm going to start airbrushing the back tab and midsole to the original gray color. Once the gray's been laid down, I'm going to add the turquoise speckles. Alright, now it's time to paint back the letters. The only thing left to do now is glue back the uppers to the midsole. I'm going to leave some spots unglued so the electronics can be installed later on. After the soles have been glued on, I'm just gonna touch up any areas that need more paint. I'm pretty much done with my part. I'm gonna ship it back to Harrison so then he can record the steps where they install back the electronics. I'm excited to see the shoes complete after Harrison makes his video. So tune in and subscribe to Harrison's channel to see the full transformation. I'll link his channel down in the description. Oh, by the way, I couldn't unyellow the LED bubble, so that's gonna be fixed in part 2, which I can't wait to see. I'll see you guys later. Peace.